During that time, I go back and forth to the hospital, and my doctor, Dr. Frizzell, one of the best doctors ever. And so, Dr. Frizzell is my pediatrician. He helped me get back and get better. So they put me on this drug, this medicine called penicillin. I think it was to eliminate the infections that I would get. If I got a cold, it'll send me into this crisis. And so I was on penicillin for a few years until I got to this place called St. Jude. So how I got to St. Jude was I had a sickle cell crisis, and they wanted to see if I wanted to try this medication called hydroxyurea. And they would only give it to you, well, to certain patients, and it would be a drug trial that they would give to certain people that are in like a dire need. St. Jude is actually known for treating cancer patients, kids that have cancer. And so I'm not actually sure what year they started treating sickle cell patients, but I know this. They tried hydroxyurea on a patient one day that had cancer and they had sickle cell as well. And so it helped both. So hydroxyurea was a cancer drug, but now it is well known to be a sickle cell drug. And so they moved me on to St. Jude, and they did a trial for me. Like 7 years, I have been suffering all this pain with sickle cell and going in and out the hospital. And I finally made it to St. Jude. And so God was with me all the way. And my parents, I'm so thankful that they have a faith-based background, because I had some praying parents, some praying grandparents, some praying aunties and uncles and cousins, and everybody was praying for me. Oh, and church members. Everybody was praying for me and praying for my family that we would make it, because prayer still works. Point blank, period. I don't care what anybody says. Prayer still works. God is the best listener ever. So I made it to St. Jude, and I think I was probably 6 or 7. I was in the 2nd grade. I can't remember. And so once I started getting on hydroxyurea and taking it every day, it was a 180 turnaround, like literally. Sometimes I would slip up and forget to take my medicine. I was doing awesome. It limited the amount of sickle cell crisis and hospital visits. That's a miracle drug. That's God sent. That is God sent. And I thank the Lord that He sent me people like St. Jude to help me through it. I am so grateful, even despite the things that I've been through. I know God has always brought me through. When I went to St. Jude, majority of my sickle cell visits would be on Tuesday, and it was just once a month. I would leave school sometimes early, and then they would get my height and weight, and they would ask me how am I feeling today and everything. So they would take me back to the room, and then they would always take my blood and The doctors that know me, you know me, throughout the years, know I am a hard stick. And St. Jude, very best place to take your child if they're suffering with cancer or sickle cell or leukemia or any other dreadful disease. Like, you don't have to pay for anything. Those commercials y'all see on TV, it's real. They mean what they say. I didn't have to pay a dime, a penny, nothing to St. Jude. Nothing. I didn't have to pay for food. I didn't have to pay for my medicine. That's one thing. That's many of the things that I miss about St. Jude. And they would pay for anything. They would have Christmas events. They would have toy giveaway. I remember going into the dome and they would have so many different toys and you would just pick them out. And they would give them to you for free. And they have a Ronald McDonald House for the kids that stay in a different state and don't come here. They don't live in Memphis for treatment. And they provide housing and different things like that. And they'll put you in a hotel. And they're just amazing. Like, the stories that you hear on TV, those are real. Like, for real. Like, I don't think I ever had a bad day at St. Jude other than when I didn't drink enough water. It was on me. I didn't drink enough water and I would end up having to get stuck several times. So that was on me. I know what I'm like because I didn't drink the water. And so other than that, I never ever had a bad day at St. Jude. You all think Disney World's the best place in the world? No. Disney World has nothing on St. Jude at all. Like, they provide so much for the kids. So much. If I could go back to St. Jude, I would. Because I miss it so much. And they would pay for you to have physical therapy. They have surgeons there. They'll do knee replacement, hip replacement, whatever replacement your child needs. And they'll give you free crutches and free inserts and everything that you need to get back on your feet. I wish they had more St. Jude's in different places. In different locations around the world. So people won't have to fly all the way to Memphis. But it pays. It pays off. Because you would want the best for your child. The best care. Because you're in dire need and your child needs to live. They give you a second chance at hope. When I was at St. Jude, they had this place called the medicine room. And so when I would get into a sickle cell crisis or whenever I was sick, maybe had the flu or something, they would hydrate me and let me lie down in the bed and give me heating packs. Sometimes you would go back home and sometimes they would admit you. I remember most nights I would wake up in pain and it would be like a 5 or a 10. And my parents would sit me in the jacuzzi and let the turbo jets try to massage my back. Like every single time I would have pain in my back. Like literally, no joke. Every single sickle cell crisis has been in my back. And so they would try to sit me in the jacuzzi and see if the pain would go away. And they'll give me pain meds and they would give me a heating pad to put on my back. And so once all that failed and I was still hurting, once St. Jude opened up, they would send me to St. Jude and see if they could get some fluids in me. And so most of the times I would get admitted, but sometimes I didn't have to get admitted. and they'll just send me on home. That kind of almost never happened. Maybe like a few times, but more than likely I will get admitted.